Okay, so this is lesson 2, and we will be creating a phone stand using Fusion 360, which will look something like this. In this lesson, we will be learning some more advanced features such as importing an image and tracing it, using the line tool, scaling a sketch, extruding from a traced image, and how to export the model as an STL file for 3D printing. Just like the last lesson, I will be following along this PDF, which you can also do when you download it from the assignments tab on Canvas. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started, and I will walk you through on how to do this. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, as we learned from the previous lesson, we want to create a sketch. And sometimes it's good to visualize how the phone stand will be. So I like to visualize like the base of the phone stand just sitting on the floor, and that means if the phone stand is sitting on the floor, then the plane that we're going to sketch is on the side. So I'm just going to select the side plane right here, and it really doesn't matter because when you 3D print it, you can always reorient the part, but I just like to do it because it saves me a little bit of time. So after we have that, we are going to go to Insert, Canvas, and as you can see, this will let you import an image which you can trace. So I'm going to go ahead and select the image that you guys should have included in your zip file, and it should look something like this. So go ahead and find that, and when you select that, it will ask you to choose a face for you to put the image on. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this face. And now you have this little dialog. You have these arrows, you have these the square. So basically the square is just so you can move it around, and the arrows are just moving it in one axis. So that's the x-axis and that's the y-axis. Now it does seem a little small, but don't worry about that for now because we will be using the scale function to change the size later. So I'm just gonna, it really doesn't matter where you put it, so I'm just gonna choose somewhere and click OK. And now we have our image. So what we're gonna do now is trace this image with by sketching directly onto it. So I'm going to create a new sketch. I have to finish sketch first. Okay. So now I'm going to create a new sketch. Select the same plane that the photo is on. And now I'm going to use the line tool. So the line tool is pretty simple to use. Basically you just click, and then you click, you can let go. Okay, so click, let go, and it'll move with your cursor. So what I'm just gonna do here is just trace along this outline. So I'm click there, click there, click there, and sometimes it might want to snap to a certain angle. All you have to do, if you don't want it to do that, just hold Control and it'll disable the snapping. So I'm just gonna go do this quickly. And these curves, you don't have to worry about too much. They're mainly there just for show. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this. And I'm zooming in and out by using the scroll wheel, by the way. So scrolling up scrolls out, and scrolling down scrolls in. And I'm clicking the scroll wheel to pan, clicking and holding to pan around. Okay, so once I have that, closed, I will go to the top left and click extrude. Well, one second. Before we do that, we have to scale it to make sure it's the right size. So the way we scale is, first we have to inspect. So we have to measure how long the base is in order to scale it by a certain percentage. So I clicked on this. So what I did was, right here where it says inspect, measure, it's like a ruler. So I click on that, and then I click on a line, and it's telling me the length is 11.292 millimeters. So that is way too small if you're going to be using it as a phone stand. So the phone stand the phone stand should be about 80 millimeters. So if we do the math, our scale factor should be around 80 divided by 11. So which is let's see. Which is 7.2, around 7.27. So if we type in, so now that we have that number, we can go to sketch right here, and we can go to scale, somewhere here, right here, sketch scale. And after we click that, it's going to ask us for the entities. Entities basically just means the lines. So we're going to click and drag just to select all of them, and it's going to ask us for a point. So basically, in this case, we can choose any point because we're going to be 3D printing it. So the placement of the part does not matter too much. So basically, what it means is, if you click this point, everything will scale with this point in the center. So everything will scale away from this point. Yeah. So we're just going to choose a point. Okay, so it's giving me an error because since I dragged and selected all of them, it also selected the points. So if you want to select a point, you cannot have it selected as an entity. So what I did was I clicked on entities, and then I deselected the point, these points, because we don't really need to scale those. You don't have to do it to all of them, but it should be okay. So now we should be able to select a point. There we go. And this is asking for the scale factor. And the scale factor we got earlier was 7.27. So we type that in, And see, that was before, and this is the after. If you're wondering how we got 7.27, just take a look at the PDF. I explain it in better detail over there. Okay, so you might be wondering about this tiny one that's still there. That's just the photo that we brought in earlier. We didn't actually scale that, so that's independent of the sketch, and we can hide it. This is the browser bar. We can hide it by opening these drop-down menus, and as you can see here, this is called a canvas. So if you click the eyeball, it will hide it. And same thing with the sketches. So the sketches are the blue lines that we haven't extruded yet. So we can hide those as well, but we don't want to right now because we want to work with it. So okay, now that we have everything to scale, we can extrude it into a 3D object. So I click extrude. Usually when you have a single sketch or a single outline, it'll automatically select that profile for you. So if it didn't automatically select it, it would not be highlighted blue. But so this is selected and this is unselected. So when you select that, it tells you on the right side, one profile selected. And honestly, you can click and drag to extrude it to any length you want. Personally, I think around 40, well, maybe like 50 to 60 be a good length. 60 millimeters, 50 millimeters. It's up to you. So click OK. And it's done. So now we have our phone stand. Since that turned, okay, so whenever you have a 3D object, it's called a body. And on the left here, you'll see the browser where it says bodies. And we have one body right here, which we can hide and show. So every solid object is called a body. Now to export it, we will select the body, right click, and click Save as STL. And it's going to ask you to select the body. So it's already selected, so I'm going to click OK. And I'm just going to name it phone stand and click Save.